Hello, it's Darcy from Snails and Fairy Dust. I have this new pattern in my shop, which is basic brick stitch, but a triple brick stitch. However, it's a bit rounded at the bottom, and I just wanted to make a quick video so people understand how we get to that rounded edge at the bottom. It's going to be a combination of triple, double, and single brick stitch. I'm going to teach you how to do it in two parts. So we're going to start sort of in the middle-ish and then work our way up with decreasing brick stitch and work our way back down with decreasing brick stitch. Okay, so taking a look at our supplies, we have size 11 Miyuki Delica beads. The exact order numbers are in the pattern. I have these like leverback ear wires that I love to use. I have wire guards to go at the top. They're also known as thread guards. And I have Fireline 6-pound weight Fireline in crystal, my favorite. And I have a size 12 beading needle. Okay, that is all we need to get started. Oh, and scissors. Don't forget scissors. Okay, let's get started. So to begin, I have cut off about 5 feet, 5 and a bit more feet of my fire line, and I'm going to pick up the first 6 beads in my pattern. So the first 2 groups of 3. So I have 6 beads there. In the case of this pattern, it is 6 of these cream colored beads. I'm going to pull those down towards the end of my thread, separate them out, and then I'm just going to get the bottom 3, come back up through the bottom 3, and this will be our ladder stitch. It's a triple ladder stitch. Okay, so we pull that tight and we have this sort of action. And then we're going to come back down through those second 3 beads like so. Pull that tight. And now you have the 2 sitting next door to each other like this. You want to sort of click that into place if it's not sitting. And then you're going to pick up your next 3 beads. And with the next 3 beads, you're going to take your needle and go down through the last 3 beads. And then we're going to come back up through those 3 beads. Like that, and pull it tight. I'm just going to apologize right now for my cuticles, but I've been gardening a lot. It's spring. My hands are a mess because I'm trying to make my garden pretty, so please forgive me. So we're going to pick up 3 more beads, and then we're going to come back up through those last beads that we've added and pull tight, and then we have this sort of situation. Okay, and so you know the drill. If you've been here before, you know how to do brick stitch. This is just the first time I've shown you triple brick stitch. Maybe there's one other video with it, but we're going to skip ahead into the end of this row, and then we will start the next row of brick stitch once this complete row of ladder stitch is done. So you keep working to the end of your pattern, and when you get to the end, come back here and we'll start the next row. Okay, so here we are at the end of our first row of triple ladder stitch, and we're going to begin our first row of triple brick stitch. So I'm picking up 6 beads, the first 2 groups of 3 in our pattern, and I'm going to slide them under the second thread bridge from the outside, this one right here, and pull that tight. And then I'm going to come back up through the second 3 beads, like so, and then back down through the first 3 beads. We're going to do that now. And then we come back up through the second 3 beads, and everyone will be sitting straight. Now, with triple brick stitch, it's important that if you sort of see your beads, especially with the Delicas and they're not quite sitting straight, put them in their place. Tell them where you want them to be. Fix them now. It's better to fix them in the beginning than later to have to try to sort them out. So we're going to pick up another 3 beads. And then we're going to slide our needle underneath that next thread bridge. And then come straight back up through those 3 beads. And now the rest of this row, we're just going to continue adding in the same way, 3 beads at a time, slide under the next thread bridge and come straight back up through those 3 beads. Easy, easy peasy. Hopefully you have done a brick stitch before. I would consider this a sort of intermediate-ish project. I have plenty of beginner brick stitch projects on this channel. So we're just going to work across there, 3 brick stitch. The great thing about this triple brick stitch is it comes together so quickly. You're going to see as you're making it, it's just much faster than single brick stitch or double brick stitch, obviously. It really just pops together. I mean, it's still time consuming in its beadwork, but it's faster than other types. Okay, so finish off with that row and meet me back here. Here we are. We have finished that row. I just want to show you one more time how to get started with a new row. I always flip my beadwork over and work away from my non-dominant hand. So I'm getting that all set up, picking up my next 6 beads. So the first 2 groups of 3 beads in your pattern, working in the opposite direction. I'm going to pick all of those up, bring my needle underneath the second bead thread bridge, like so. And then we come up through those second 3 beads, down through the first 3 beads, and finally up through the second 3 beads again. There we go. And then we're going to continue the rest of that row, 3 beads at a time, until we get to the end. And for the rest of this section, I am just going to fast forward through and do a little time progression here so you could see how it works up. So here we are. There's the next row and the next row and the next row. I sort of love watching a piece of beadwork come together in this way. And so I love to make these. I hope they don't annoy you because it's just nice for me. So here we are. We're working through. At the very top, we're going to add our wire guard. So here we are. I'm going to bring my needle through one side of the wire guard, pull that down to the beadwork, and then I'm going to bring my needle through the other side of the wire guard and through the outside group of 3 beads. And then I want to do that one more time. So in order to do that, I'm going to weave down 1 row and then come back up. So don't be afraid to turn your beadwork this way and that way to make it easier for you to weave. So now I'm coming back up through those beads in that second row. Then I'm going to come through this outside beads of the top row and then right back through the wire guard again. Now here is where we're going to prep for the bottom part of this earring. So I'm coming down the outside of the wire guard, back into the beadwork. So through the wire guard and then into the beadwork. And then I'm just going to bring my needle down through the outside edge of this beadwork until I get to the bottom there. Now, I have had people question me as to why I do this sort of earring in 2 sections, but I'm just trying to make it easy for beginners. So this way, you're doing decreasing brick stitch and decreasing brick stitch. If we were to start from one side and work the whole way, we'd have to do increasing brick stitch and then move to decreasing brick stitch. And I just feel like decreasing brick stitch is an easier way to start beading and just an easier way generally. Honestly, this is how I make my earrings even when I'm not teaching you. I just prefer this method. So I'm coming down to the bottom. And when I get to the bottom, I'm going to do another row of brick stitch following my pattern. And really, you've only lost, if you're worried about wasting thread, you've only lost the amount of thread that is the length of that outside edge. So we're talking like 1.25 inches maybe. So it's not a huge waste of thread. So now that I have flipped it over, I'm just going to work in the opposite direction, doing decreasing brick stitch. The first row is going to be a row of triple brick stitch, and that is what I'm doing now. So the same method that we've done before, just 6 beads we're starting with, coming under that second thread bridge, and then we're just going to in and out and in and out until we get the beads sitting where we want them. You see, I sort of massage them into place. With triple brick stitch, it can get a little wonky, but really put your beads where you want them to be. Let them know how you want them to sit. And so for the rest of this row, you're just going to add 3 at a time, as we've done for the other part of the earring. And then after this row, we are going to add a row of double brick stitch. So we pick up the first 4 beads this time in the next row. I'm grabbing those beads now. Here we have 4 beads. And with this pattern, the whole bottom part is gold. So this is the part where you don't have to think anymore. You just sort of grab your beads and move on. So we're doing a double brick stitch here. So I've put 4. I'm coming up 2, down 2, and then up 2 again. And then I'll finish off the rest of that row 2 at a time until we get to the end. Okay, here we are at the end of that first row of double brick stitch. And now the rest is going to be single brick stitch. So now I'm picking up just 2 at a time. And this part will work a little bit more slowly because we're just doing a single brick stitch. But this combination of triple, then double, and then single gives you this rounded shape in your brick stitch. And so that's why we are combining these stitches. And you'll start to see now that you're starting to get a little bit of that rounded thing. And you're going to do 4 rows of this single brick stitch. And then the very last row, we're going to do something slightly different just to give us the really rounded bottom that we want to. So keep doing your single brick stitch. Here we are on that final row of single brick stitch. And what I'm going to do here is I want to do another row, but I want it to start 2 beads in. So I don't want to start right there because it's going to feel straight. And I want it to start at that second bead. So I'm going to weave down through that second bead at a diagonal and through the one underneath it. And then I'm going to come back up through the one next to it and back through that second bead, because you want your needle exiting that second bead. And then we're just going to do another row of single brick stitch, normal row of single brick stitch. But this time we're going to end at 4 beads. We're going to end before we get to the end of the row. So those are my first 2. You know the drill here, up and down until we get those 2 beads to sit like we want them to. And then we pick up our next one. Back up through that one. And then one more. And we are done with the weaving. Okay, so through there and back up. And that's going to give you that rounded shape. It took me a long time to figure out how to sort of fake this rounded shape with brick stitch. So I'm hoping I can save you the trouble. And there we go. We're finished. So now we are just going to weave this needle back up into our piece and tie off the end. Well, not tie off the end, but weave in the end to create tension so that we can clip it and it's not going to come unraveled. These earrings are a fast project. If you're used to single brick stitch or double brick stitch or fringe, this is going to feel so much faster and you're going to want to make tons of them. I have a lot of new patterns in mind with this style. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understands how to make it. And then I have a couple more patterns I'm going to put out for the summer. 'Cause it's a really easy earring to wear. They're lightweight, they're smaller than the fringe earrings. And as I said, they come together quickly. So if you're making earrings to sell or to give away, whatever you're doing with them, it's nice to have a project that doesn't take you sort of like 4 or 5 hours for each pair of earrings. So hopefully you have enjoyed this. Here I am at the end. I'm going to give that a clip. And then I'm going to weave in that other side. You know the drill. Thread that thread, little tail thread, and weave that guy in too. And now we are all finished. We're just going to add our little lever back earring wires here. And with mine, they're open at the bottom. So I'm just going to take a pair of pliers, bend those away. You want it to be horizontal, never undo the circle. Bend the circle to the side and don't open the circle, if that makes sense. Let me close that back up, do the same thing. This one's already open. Close that one up. And we are finished. There we go. I hope you have enjoyed this fun, fast earring project. And I hope you'll make tons of them and keep your eye out for more patterns. And please subscribe. I have a lot of fun things coming up for summer. And thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Okay, bye.